In the wake of what's happened in that Toronto neighborhood, we've invited Sasha Emmons to the show. She's the editor-in-chief of today's Parent magazine, and we appreciate you coming in, Sasha.
Thank you so much for having me.
So many people today are just talking about kids and safety and the cold in Toronto with an extreme cold right now. So what can you do? What can people do to keep kids inside?
So I think you hear a story like this, and if you're a parent, you just instantly go to, what if that were my kid? Mm-hmm. So, I think the most important thing is don't freak out, but if you are really worried about it, the most important thing to do is just make sure that all your exits are really secure. So things like dog doors, windows, make sure that you figured out every exit to your house. You can also use things that make it harder for kids to exit the house. So doorknob covers, they make it really hard to turn the doorknob. You could also use something like a kid gate. If your bedrooms are on the second floor, you could use a kid gate. Even if your kid has figured out how to get around the kid gate, at least they'll be making some noise. So maybe that will alert you to the fact that they're up and about. And you can also still use a baby monitor. Even if your child is a little bit older, that might be a good way to just track movement in the house. Maybe it'll wake you up when you hear, a door close or you hear some rustling in the night.
Yeah, because there's also parents who tell me that they want to teach their kid how to leave a place if there's a fire, if there's an emergency,
right.
You need to know how to get out. So you're teaching your kid one thing and hoping for the other in other cases,
I know,
right?
it's tough, and you kind of have to weigh those things. So I think that, what's most important is that they have access to you in the night. You never want to lock a kid so that they don't have access to you if they're sick or if there's some kind of, thing that they need to alert you to. Mm-hmm. But, if you're really worried about something like this, you could use a kid gate. Just make sure it's one that you can open quickly in the case of an emergency.
That's true. And what about these door handles?
Yeah, so there are these plastic covers that you put over doorknobs, and they make it really hard to turn the doorknob, and so it makes it really hard for kids. They actually makes it hard for adults to get out as well.
Yeah.
You can also, put on a deadbolt and just make sure that it's well out of reach of the child.
Yeah. What about people who were responsible for children? My heart aches for anyone responsible for Elijah. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with that scenario, I mean, what would someone do? Seek therapy,
Well, I think the truth is that, we can't watch our children every single second of the day. And we've all had some, near misses of things that could have happened. Maybe some of us have had bad things that have happened. But, I think that not every parent cannot watch their kids 24/7. And when you know better, you will do better. So just try your best to forgive yourself. I think it would help to talk about it for sure with a counselor.
Yeah, because you can't imagine what...
Of course. And I think that, any parent who's had something happen, they do feel tremendous guilt. But, as I've said, you can't keep your kids safe from every single possible situation.
Is that the toughest reality as
a parent? It is a very tough reality as a parent, but it's the truth.
Yeah, and so many hearts are just breaking today with this story.
Yeah, I think so. Another, thing that you can do that just makes good sense is to just teach your kid about safety. So, teach them to stay away from cars, teach them not to cross the street by themselves. If they are going to cross the street, look both ways. Kids also should, know their phone number. You can teach them their phone number with a little song or something like that. They should also know their full names. A lot of kids go by nicknames, and they might be a little fuzzy on their last name if they're small. So teach them their full first name and their last name. That's helpful, so that if they're in a situation, they can, find someone to help them. This is also a situation where it's okay to yell. We're always telling kids to keep their voice down. This is a situation, yell. It's okay. And it's okay to ask a stranger for help in this situation as well. And that's something that you can teach your child.
Yeah. Is there something that you can teach them about the extreme elements?
Well, yeah, I think that, just every day you're probably reinforcing that already. We're all bundling our kids up to go to school every day. It takes about 10 minutes to get my kids out of the house. So I think just kind of letting them know as part of that, yeah, if you go outside with exposed skin when it's this cold, you're going to be in trouble really fast.